Rabbit, rabbit. Did you remember to say it when you woke up? First thing, right out of your mouth? It's an old custom from the United Kingdom, and you're supposed to say it, and it will bring you a month of good luck. So I hope you said it because it's June 1st. Wow, how did we get here so quick? It seems like I've been inside for the last few months. Welcome to Massachusetts. So I got on my Goldilocks robe. Love my Goldilocks robe. It came from a turtle here on the channel. And it was much appreciated, and it was a total surprise. So how are you doing? So a couple of new people have asked me about my journey and how much I've lost and all of the particulars. It's funny when you begin to do the diet, the weight, the scale is the most important thing. And then because I'm older, almost 70, and I had my fall 5 or 6 weeks ago, how different the life that I'm leading becomes and how important health concerns are over the scale. Sure, I want my jeans to fit, but I haven't been able to put on my jeans since I fell because of the pain involved with moving the leg. The leg is the left one, and the hips and stuff like that. So it's not like I gained too much and I can't fit into them. Although they're skinny jeans, I had to actually cut the ankles just to fit my feet in. Taking them off that's where the pain comes from, trying to get them off. But anyway, I was a fat little girl. I was an overeater. I was addicted totally to candy and carbs and food of any kind. My parents were alcoholics, and food was not an important thing to have in the house. My mother was probably addicted to pills and alcohol. My father was addicted to other women. And those that had a British accent were especially one of his favorites. And so the beat goes on. And so I was raised in a totally dysfunctional household, and my normal was crazy. It was nothing to have me call the cops on my parents and, just crazy things that most kids never deal with. I was adopted at 3 months. And so to escape my parents, I ate a lot when I could find it. And I began babysitting at like 9 years old. The neighborhood mothers would entrust me with their newborns. It was like crazy, probably because it was just important enough for them to get out of the house for an hour and go buy groceries. But anyway, so I was a fat little child, and I would overeat at the houses where I babysat. So I was like 9 or 10, and I became totally addicted to all things. It was at that point that my parents' diseases really took off, and I really had to escape it. Enter my father's brother, who began having an affair with my mother. You can't make this stuff up. After my father died of alcoholism, my mother married him. Crazy. So anyway, food became my comfort, my best friend, my security, my whatever, what have you. And so I was always just husky, chubby, never passed a cake. I loved raw cookie dough. My mother rarely cooked, but when she did, it would be something like beef stew or chicken with rice soup, and I would eat bowls and bowls of it until it was gone, which meant like a day and a half. So anyway, my mother's mother was my favorite, and she was on Cape Cod, which brought me to Cape Cod full time when I could at 19. And right when I got married for the first time. And so, yeah, I got a bunch of marriages too. And so anyway, my grandmother would take me to this. It was on Main Street in Hyannis, and she would take me there. It was a little, it was a fat girl store, and the name of the brand was Chubette. How sweet! And so I was like a 14 and a half Chubette. And so we would go there to buy as normal as you could clothes for school and the like. And back then in the 50s and early 60s, if you were fat, I don't know, if you were obese, I don't know what you would wear unless you did find a Chubette store. Because now, today, they just make like jeans and leggings and tube top, all that stuff you can buy in extra, extra, extra large if you have to. So you become assimilated with the rest of the population of your age group. So if you are a young woman, you can find clothes that if you weigh over 200 pounds are just like the ones for the tiny women, girls that weigh like under 120. And so it was great having that normal part. The other side of me would buy regular girls' clothes that had zippers or buttons in the back, especially dresses, and I would have to buy a sweater to wear over them because they didn't zip or button. And I insisted. I was probably the most bratty child. My parents drank because of me, and I ate because of them. Yeah, what a great upbringing, huh? So anyway, I found myself marrying an adopted young man that lived around the corner from me. We met at the senior prom, graduation cookout at a at a state park. And although we were in the same class together, we really never saw each other. And so we got married at 20, and I became an Air Force wife. And so with that, I was living at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. I was living in a rental apartment with him. He was never there because he was sent all over the country. And my two biggest fears were cockroaches and thunderstorms. That's what you have at Dayton, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. So I was there, and I immediately became a nanny, once again, dealing with kids, and to lawyers, to a few different lawyer families that, so I was always busy. And they loved me. I was 20. I was responsible. My husband wasn't around. So it was like a why not? And so anyway, that was my early 20s. Came back and moved to the Cape and began a life with him. And within 6 months, I think I was living a life without him. Husband number one, there you go. So I was working in a bar, and I lasted there for, I think, about 8 years. In fact, I think it was last year we had a 45th or 50th reunion. All the waitresses that worked together, unbelievable. And so anyway, I began my career. I met husband number two, 20 years older than me. He was a bar frequenter, and he became my husband. I became stepmother to 8. That was an insane time. Now, I didn't eat as much as I drank, but both of my addictions were interchangeable, depending, because I was working at a pizza place. We could eat whatever we want. We could drink whatever we want. So every day was like, who's going to win? Food or booze? Food or booze? I mean, yeah, food or booze. And so we got married and had 2 kids, my two sons. They're one is almost 40 and one is a little older than 40 at this point. I have grandchildren. And I've done the starvation diet. I've done the drink-only diet. I've done the 1,000-calorie diet with my little book where I'd look up each thing to see what kind of calories it had. And I always knew that Weight Watchers was over there on the shelf if I needed it. And so I ended up, I've been with Greg about 14 or 15 years. um, so about 6 or 7 years ago, I began Weight Watchers. I was sitting in my AA meeting. I had planned, it was at 7:30 in the morning. I had planned to go to Weight Watchers at 10. I said that was it. I was going to do it. And I have to tell you, I had a ball doing it because it was so much fun finding all these different foods, using the little Weight Watcher app on my cell phone and finding how many points everything. And it's just the sort of stuff that I guess I became very fond of. I use the chronometer today. So I still like charts and graphs and stuff like that. And so that was like 6 or 7 years ago. Like I said, I did it for about 18 months, lost 17 pounds, hit that level that a lot of people hit. And then I began low carb, high fat. I read Dr. William Davis's book after that 18 months of Weight Watchers, and I gave up all grains in August, and then I gave up all sugar in September of whatever year that was, 2013, 14, and thus began my low carb, high fat family of food plans, right? So I did that, and I lost like another 17 pounds and then hit that level. I began to do the formal keto, but it was like, under 50 carbs or something like that. And I did that for a while. I didn't keep charts and graphs about it. I just wanted to continue losing. I would weigh myself frequently, and I was obsessed with what the scale said, even though I knew that that was not like the healthiest way, But I had my health. I could run and jump and walk fast and do all that kind of stuff. And then I went to keto under 20. And then you may see my little mug that's down here in the corner sometimes. I don't really know how to remove it, but Miss Joyce sent me keto under 20 mugs. And so I was following the keto under 20. Then I dipped lower to the keto under 10. Then I was doing like the keto under 5. And then about 10, 11 months ago, I started doing carnivore, and I did it strictly. And all I did was gain weight and get frustrated. And so I kind of sort of missed veggies, but not, I don't know. I mean, I watched so many Sally Norton, Elliot Overton videos on oxalates. I was scared of the veggies, but I did miss that baby butter lettuce. And so a couple of weeks ago, I started introducing a little salad with like 25 grams of the lettuce into my food plan. I started changing it up. I've had chicken breast, I've had quail eggs, I've had avocado, cottage cheese, macadamia nut oil. So a little variation on the carnivore. I honestly thought if I had to have one more bite of porterhouse, I was just gonna become a pescatarian, which is like only fish. And so about 6 weeks ago, I fell getting into the tub. It was a case of I usually hold on to the side of the tub. It's one of those Victorian ones with legs. And I fell back onto my left cheek, and I've been really debilitated since then. I use a cane. Today I'm having my MRI, so the results will show what it is. Perhaps physical therapy will enter into this. We'll see. All businesses like that are still shut down because of COVID, so I don't know. But that's just a brief synopsis of the journey. It wasn't a straight line lose, happily ever after. It was lose, and then some time, and then lose, and then some time, and then with the carnivore, it was gain. So that's how that cupcake goes. And so now I'm carnivish with just a couple of items added in, mostly animal products, but with things like cottage cheese and avocado. Cottage cheese does come from, it's an animal product, of course, but it's got carbs. But anyway, I am content. I'm still not weighing myself, and I'm looking forward to getting back into my jeans when I heal more, not when I lose more. So that's just kind of an overview of my losing. The longer I've been doing this, since low carb, high fat, the more I realize it's about health. I'm going to turn 70 in 2 months. So, what I weigh, the obituary is not going to say she died weighing so many pounds, right? They aren't going to put, my birth year and my death year with what I weighed at the end on the autopsy table. I've realized how much time and energy I've wasted on being and keeping a certain weight. It's lovely when you're losing, but then when you're not, it's not fun. And then I hurt myself and I just don't feel like weighing with inflammation and stuff like that. So that's my story. It's June 1st. I hope you all have a wonderful month. I hope you all said rabbit, rabbit. And for those of you that have been asking about my timeline, that's pretty much my timeline. I still weigh less than I weighed in the 3rd grade. That's what I have to keep reminding myself. And so I'm so glad you're here. I couldn't do this without you. And thank you for watching and commenting. I'll see you the next time here on Pearls of Wisdom and Food with Carnivore. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now.